Hey everyone, welcome back to channel, and this is the day 8 of our community series. And till now we have covered the day 7, and I hope you guys are enjoying this particular series. And I just tell you guys, if you have any issues, anything, any questions, you can just ask me in comment section. So yeah, let's just begin with the day 8. So it's about the Kubernetes services and the most important concept of Kubernetes with perspective of networking side, how pod communication happens, how different services communicate with each other. All those things will happens with the help of this only, like Kubernetes services. Okay, so let's just begin. So actually in Kubernetes, what we are having three different types of services. One is cluster IP, one is NodePort, and another one is the load balancer. But today for this class we are going to just cover the cluster IP and the NodePort. Okay, let's just begin. So let's just start with the problem. Okay, what exactly is the problem, why we need this services and all. Okay, so here you will see. So our app basically runs inside a pod and it's running perfectly fine, but suddenly it crashes or something happens. So in that case, Kubernetes creates a new pod. But when Kubernetes creates a new pod, the pod IP gets changed. So that's a very important thing here, because if you are communicating with the fixed number, then it's fine, you can easily communicate with it. But it's every time it's changing, it's very difficult to communicate with it, right? So for that you need something which remains stable. So that's where your services comes into the picture, guys. Okay, so let's just begin. What is a service? So here a service provides basically a stable endpoint for a group of pods, you can say, and apps talk to the service, okay, never directly to a pod. Let's say you are having a front end and you are having a back end. So here you can see, like, client or front end is just trying to reach to the pod. So they will reach it through the service. We the whatever request is coming, it will not just directly go to the pod. This doesn't happen in real time. Okay, so we create a service which gets a stable IP, and that IP we particularly hit, means this client or friend, whatever there it hits, and we reach to the pod. So this is basically a service. So you can just tell a service is basically a provides a stable endpoint for your group of the pods. Okay, and here is one analogy, that is a think of a receptionist. So basically we whenever we go somewhere in a hotel or somewhere, there will be a receptionist and they will just redirect us to where we want to go. Okay, so let's just begin with the first type, that is we have is the cluster IP service, and this is basically a default type of Kubernetes service. So whenever you write a YAML and you don't define the type, so in that case cluster IP gets created. And one important thing to notice here is that this cluster IP service is used internal only. What does it mean internal? Because this is the question which people ask in interviews, and they have asked me as well. So internal only means key, suppose let's say you are having this cluster, and this is your some front end service or something back end service, and this is your suppose cluster IP or cluster IP service. Okay, so you want to reach it to this. So a front end wants to reach to the back end, so we will reach it to the service and then it will redirect to us to the different pods, whatever pods we are running. Okay, so internal only means from outside, let's say from my laptop, I can't just directly go and reach to the front end or directly to the back end using this particular IP, because this is not for like, this is basically out of scope with respect to the cluster IP, because it is used only inside the cluster. Okay, and also you can see it is basically best for the service to service traffic communication, which means you have different microservices and each microservice wants to communicate with each other, so they are going to use the cluster IP. Okay, I hope this is clear. And let's go with this particular diagram we have. So it's a front end service, whatever front end service you are having, and this is your say backend pods, and we have created a service. So your front end pod is reaching to the backend pods through the nginx service we have here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that we are going to do the hands-on. We are going to create a cluster IP service. Okay, and also we are going to see what are the things you need to keep in mind while writing a particular service. Okay, so let's just begin, guys. So let me just open up my terminal. Okay. So Kubernetes series है, we will create a folder with services. And what I'm going to do is that in rolling update, okay, let's go in deployment, and I'm going to dev.yaml, and then I'm going to copy this inside the services. And also currently one deployment is running, so I will basically I'll basically deploy delete this for now. Kubectl delete deployment, deployment nginx deployment. Okay, cool. So we'll go into the services. We are having a dev.yaml. Okay. So here one thing to understand is that in last classes I told you about this selector match level. So this is a very important concept. So whenever you create a service, okay, so you need to write the labels there. Okay, what level? Like that service, whatever you are writing, it should redirect traffic to which all the pods. So that service should know, right? So that we provide that information using the labels. Okay, so now let's just write the particular service. So we can just create a YAML like API version, and the type here is the v1 for service. Then kind is service. Metadata you can just give any name here like nginx service, let's say. Then we have here something called spec, and then you can just define the kind as a cluster IP. Okay, and then what else you have here? Let's go to our PPT. So here you will see we have the selector, the most important thing, selector, and whatever level you have given the deployment.yaml. So, oh sorry, here it will be type, kind already we given above now. Hmm. So now we are just going to give the selector and app equal colon what we had there. Let me just check. Cat Kubernetes series services dev.yaml. So here we have app colon nginx, my nginx. So this only we have to give here. Okay. So when this is done, when we are going to give the ports, and in ports we are having some target port. So let's just give the target port of 80. Okay, and we'll give the container port, not container port, normal port, that is also will give the 80. So we'll just come to this particular point, what is this target port and the normal port. Okay, so let's just for now at this moment we'll create a service. So let me just do apply -f service.yaml. Oh, again we have error. What is that? Error parsing service error currently YAML to JSON line 8 mapping values are not allowed in this context. uh, what it is saying, line 8 it is what? Oh shit, two times. Now it should work. Cluster IP we have to write into the capital. See, these are the basic things which happens every time when you will work with YAMLs. Okay, so if you do get svc now, so you will see here nginx svc has been created. Okay, and the IP also you can see here 10.19.7. Now let me just apply this YAML as well. Kubectl apply fnfdev.yaml. Okay, cool. So now if I will just do here kubectl get pods, so now my three pods are running fine. Okay, one it is running, you can just ignore this last one. So we are having these three pods running, and if you want to check the IP address of these pods, so get pods hyphen o wide, so you will see the IP addresses, each are having some different 79, 80, 81. Okay, and then we have the get svc also here, nginx service, it is also having some IP, that is the cluster IP. Okay, so now what we can do is that let's just go forward. Okay, so we have created now the services. Okay, So now, how does the service finds its pods? So the answer is selectors, what I just told you. So the service looks for every pod carrying the level app colon nginx, whatever the pod which we have created, like in the deployment. So we had given one level, right? So service looks for that thing, and those pods automatically become its endpoints. Okay. So and also when a new pod appears or removed, then in that case also it can remove from that endpoint. So we'll run this particular command to see what whether we are able to see those pods or not. Okay, so let me just do kubectl get endpoints and the service name. So now you will see, I can see these three ports. Okay, you can see the IP 79, 80, 81, and here also we are having three IPs 79, 80, 81. So this confirms that our service is pointing to these particular ports. And if you want to check something like describe, also you can do. So describe svc nginx svc. So you will see what are the selector we have app equal to my nginx. So sometimes what happens, like your with service, you will not be able to reach to your pod. So there could be a mismatch between the level and selector. That could be a one thing. Because of that, your traffic will not reach to the pod. Okay. So yeah, this is your about cluster IP. So let me just move forward, and I will just try to okay. Currently now it's a node port. So now what I will do is that I will basically go here, and I will show you one thing. I will just show you the pod to pod communication. Okay, using the service IP. So here what we have is that what we'll do is that I will create a pod. Okay, this is, let's say I will create a pod with some name like maybe FE, and here nginx pods are already running, and also we are having here services. Okay, I will try to head to this particular endpoint. Okay, so that we will get response of the nginx. Okay, so this is the thing which I'm going to do is that using this, maybe we are going to use the curl command and all. Okay, so let me just show you how we can do it. So what I will do is that I will just create a copy of this dev.yaml with fe.yaml. Okay, and in this fe.yaml, I'm just going to change few things. Instead of my dep, I will just change here. Wait, my depths I will change fe, and replicas I will keep is one only, and match labels I will change to my fe, and here also I can change to the my fe, and this fine image will run the same. That's not a problem. So I will just create this particular fe.yaml, and let me just do the kubectl get pods. Okay. Uh, Sorry, what I did. Okay, fe.yaml. Okay, I didn't change actually. Okay, let me just change it quickly. So it will be my fe, and instead of my nginx, my fe. Here also fe. Okay, just save it. Cool. Now let me just again run this particular fe, and now let me just do the get pods. Okay, I didn't change the replica. That's completely fine, not a problem. So what I'm going to do is that from my FE to I will reach to these pods, but I won't use the pod IP addresses. I'm going to use the cluster IP. So if I do the kubectl get svc, so you can either use the cluster IP, or even you can use the just service names. So that is also completely fine. Okay, let's just go and do it. This, so let me just do kubectl execute hyphen it, and I'm logging to the pod basically. And let's just do bin bash. So now I'm going to use the curl command. So currently curl I can use, curl is installed. So if I just do curl http and nginx svc, so you will see I'm getting the response like welcome to nginx. This is the default response which you get from the pod. So here you have to see I'm not using the pod IPs. Okay, I'm just using the cluster IP. So now if I just try with the cluster IP itself, currently I use the service name. If I just do this, so still I can get the same response. So I hope this is clear to you guys, like how basically it happens, this pod to pod communication with the help of the cluster IPs. So even if, when you're creating any project or something you're doing, so you had to create a front end service, a back end service, and your front end service wants to communicate with the back end, you need to use basically the here either service URLs or the IPs. IPs is not recommended, only service URLs. Okay, so this is about the cluster IP, and I think the video is going too much longer, so I will conclude this particular video here itself. In the next video we will see about the NodePort service. So till then, I will just suggest you to just create your own services, try to communicate with each other, try to ping the pod IPs and all. Okay, so I'm just stopping the video at this moment. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one with the NodePort service. So that's it, and see you the next one.